Welcome back to our community. Susie Thomas visiting with Kelly Williams and company. We've got all kinds of folks here involved with the Children Speak. And Kelly, where did you get this idea? First of all, somebody as talented as yourself, focusing on your own career. A lot of people get a little self-absorbed and work at trying to promote themselves. You are bringing all these young people along with you.
Well,
Why?
I went through a personal experience. Well, as a kid, I always wanted an outlet to do music, and there was none for me in Canton, Ohio. But just fast forwarding, 2 days before my mom passed, we had our conversation, and she said, no matter what happens, never give up. And I took that as something that I really needed to pay attention to. So I pressed the gas a little bit more. I just kept having these feelings that I needed to come back to Canton, Ohio, and I was rejecting those things for at least 3 or 4 years. And I was on the road a lot. And I said something. I remember in a hotel room one night, I was in Sandusky. I remember this. And it was 2015 in October, and I was on my way back to Canton to do a concert at Faith Family, the church up there, right on the big church off the highway.
Faith Family?
Yeah. So we were doing a concert with The Truth, and when I got here, God was like, "You're going to stay." I was like, "I can't stay. I'm on the tour. I can't do that." And I ended up finishing out the dates. It was like 5 dates left, and I had a friend call me, and he was like, "Yo, if you ever need to stay in the city, I got a spot for you, da-da-da-da-da." And I was like, going back home. I missed my flight, and so I ended up having to stay in Canton. From there, I just started, was like, I don't know when I'm going to go back to Florida. That's exactly what I said. Then I met another friend, and I went back home because my family was there already. And we had already been discussing it and talking about it. And, she was like, well, if that's what you need to do, go ahead and do it. I really feel like God's telling you to do so. So I came back, I flew to Florida, came back home, and I told my friend, let me check out the place that you have. And so I just rented it. And at that moment, I was, a year after that, I was given like 3 months to live. I had, I had something going on with an infection that was in my tooth. And I didn't think that was real, that you could die from it. And so when the doctor told me, he said, if you wouldn't have came in so quickly, at 3 months to live, we got to do an emergency extraction. And I was like, he's just trying to get my money. I said, give me some medicine and I'll call you back. So on my way home, of course, I'm Googling on my phone, looking this up, and it was real. And so I went back and was like, what can we do? So he immediately did the extraction. And he said, if I would have came in maybe a week or two later, I probably would have died.
Oh,
and I had about 3 months. So at that point, mentally, I was like, I just have to do everything I can do. Because death comes at us at, we just don't know when it's going to come. So my biggest thing was just thinking back to how I was as a kid, the opportunities I didn't have that I felt that I should have had, and, my life maybe been better and different. And so that's when I just focused and said, it starts in the schools. So I connected with Heartbeats to the City and just went into the schools. And from there, just merged into Tikva Hands of Hope. And so I've been working with them for about 3 years. So it's difficult sometimes, to put your own career on pause, especially when it's going good. And then you have people asking you, when you going to do an album, or you're going back on the road, or why you stop music. And I told someone, I stopped, just to focus on other people. It's still me. But, I just want to give other people the opportunity that, they didn't have that I did have. And, and I'm still taken care of, so I wasn't, too worried about it. But one person was like, man, it's all about you. You should focus on you. Because that's what you got to leave behind. And I said, yeah, I'm going to focus on others for me. And that's how I just started producing more people. And it leaked over into, non-Christian music as well as producing. And at first, I never felt uneasy about it. But I was like, everybody has a story. Everybody has a voice. And I can't determine where God is going to lead this person. Me working with them and talking with them just in conversation has, thought process of many guys have changed thought processes. But I work with a lot of guys who come from the institutions or in gangs or in streets. And that's what my studio is filled with constantly. So why not have a platform for them in some kind of way too? Because that's still the mentoring part of it all. So I was in that same space, and I turned out who I am today. Yeah. So who's to say that there might be like this now, but you're taking that time to work with them in the place that they're at. And who knows, 10 years from now, they turn out to be like me or better, or, a preacher of the world. Who knows? I can't say what
Right.
God is leading them to. I just have to do my position.
This is an absolutely great launching pad for
Yeah.
a lot of young lives, giving people a wonderful opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I love what you're saying, and it kind of goes along with what Tiana just said,
Mm-hmm.
that you're meeting with people who they've struggled, they've had some rough times, maybe they're in gangs, and they're wanting to find some outlet to be able to express
Right.
everything that's bottled up inside of you. Tiana just said it so simply and so perfectly. I write when I'm upset.
All right, when I'm upset. And
Yeah.
I used to write that way too. Now I'd write off like an inspiration. But just like you said, Susie, like getting that out is so important because, on my left arm, I got 52 slashes because I had no way to express myself. I didn't know how to write. I would just write. I didn't know how to write. But, I tried to commit suicide a few times because of the thought of like, you feel like nobody's out there. Nobody wants you. You can't tell anybody because they don't understand. And I just learned how to write in poetry first. And then it turned into music. So, I'm no different than anybody else. I just choose to do different things.
Do you see yourself in some of these people?
All of them. All of them. Whether it's a male or a female. All of them.
Yeah.
Just all of them because we're all the same, man. We're all the same. We just growing or little.
Yeah.
Period.
Tell me a little bit about how you contact and find all this talent. Where do you find these kids, and do people have to audition for you, or how?
No,
do you
the cool
do
thing
this?
about Tikva is they're kind of like implanted there, but like you'll have some of the staff like Miss Tig and some of the other ones who would say, this kid has talent, you should check them out, and then at the beginning of the year when we're putting the classes together or they're putting the classes together, they'll ask them who wants to be in Mr. Kelly's enrichment class, and I never know until I get there, who's all involved. So during the school year, it's a different group, and in the summer it's a different group. So this isn't even all of them at all. This is just a few of them. So how many of them is it, Miss Tig?
Yeah, I was just going to say, how many people are in?
Including the dancers. Yeah. So I say about 20 in the summer. In the school year, it's a lot more than that.
For what we're about to hear, the remix of Wrapped Up, Tied Up, Tangled Up, thanks to a collaboration title of UN Quez here, we are going to hear how many voices?
There are 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 5.
Okay. Who in this group are in what we're going to hear?
Quez, Tayana, Jakara. This is Choice. We call her Cherry. And Varez, and then we have 2 missing. Juan, call him Magic Don Juan, and Kayvon.
And Janice.
And Jenny, so we're missing 3.
Okay. But so many of you have gotten to do this. Okay. Choice, I haven't heard enough from you. Come on up here. Okay, step on up to that microphone. Okay, we're about to play.
Do your part.
We are about to play your song on the air. Tell me a little bit about your part that we're about to hear.
Like sing.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
I'm wrapped up with the king, 'cause he shed his blood for me.
Oh, that is good.
So they each have like certain sections, and then they'll go to one, then the next one to go, the next one to go. So they'll break it up in bars, and then it goes to the hook, and then they repeat.
Okay, you're talking as if I know what you're saying. Tell me what a hook is.
The chorus.
Oh, of
The
course,
chorus,
there you go. Okay, that word I've heard.
The chorus is wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in Jesus.
Very,
wrapped
very
up,
cool.
tied up, tangled up in, and the beat is real dope. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
I know that means good.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so let's do it right now. We don't want to wait another second. First of all, here is The Children Speak. Thank you for joining us on Our Community. Let's hear it now. Wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in Jesus. Here on the Light,
y'all supposed to clap
95.9.
for yourself. Y'all on the radio now. Thank you, Susie.
Wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in Jesus. Wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in God. Let's go, y'all. Wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in Jesus. Wrapped up,
He died for me.
Wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in Jesus. Wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in God. Let's go, y'all. Wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in Jesus. Wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in God. Wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in Jesus. Wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in God. Wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in Jesus. Wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in God. Let's go, y'all.
I'm walking down the street and I feel him talking to me. He gave us love so we can feel everything that I feel is real.
I feel so loved, love from above. God is good. Take off your